Good morning, guys. We are here from my dark hotel. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. We are here from my dark hotel room. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure this mic is working. But if you look at the dollar index, the dollar index is down this morning. SK Hynix did IPO. Essentially, the U.S. and Iran have exchanged more strikes over the weekend. The U.S. military targeted 140 targets on Saturday and took further action. And then basically Iran's foreign minister came out and said the U.S. violated all clauses of the MOU, of the deal, of the ceasefire in less than a month, and stated that Iran are not going to follow through with commitments in the MOU as long as the U.S. is not fulfilling its side. The spokesperson did say mediators are trying, and they're continuing their efforts to mediate between Iran and the U.S. in recent days. And Iran is in contact with the mediators. Apparently, with all of this stuff, oil has spiked. Oil is jumping up to $74 a barrel for WTI crude. The NASDAQ and, really tech is down today. Look at the NASDAQ here. It's down to 29,750s. You can see like MU and other tech stocks down. MU down to 930s, hit 915s or 910s earlier today. So that is all down as well. We did have the SK Hynix IPO. And if you look at the SK Hynix IPO, it is at 150s right now. If we look at what SKHYV did, it's down from where it IPO'd as well. It IPO'd around 170s. It's at 150s right now for SKHY. So it did pull back a little bit. Now it's at 153s. Nvidia and other chip names are down as well this morning. And one of the big things is that gold is down because yields are higher today. Yields have spiked on more geopolitical tensions. And so we had more trouble in the Middle East. Driving yields higher, driving gold down, driving the dollar index down. And so that is the market this morning. Let me catch up with the chat here. Yeah, can you hear me? It sounds like you can. What's up, chat? Here, let me see. All right, good. What's up, Proxy, Pop, Steve, Deckers, PB, Kevin, Jonathan, Jared, Rooftop, Daniel, Ashun, Ava, Steve, Brian, Ben, Slumdog, Coach, Old Hack, Amber, Glass Half Full, Shadow, Dog, DW, Leah, Pew, Ace, Nikolai, Chan, DJ, Bam Bam, One Set, 500, GR, Darkage, Hero, Edson, Baldman, Bad Neo, my dad's account, Pew, what's up, dude? One Set, good morning. Techies, Andrea, Solar, Kev, Sorrel, what's up, dude? Liberty, Mark, Raga, Ricky, Central. Did I get everybody? Straight Jacket, Adam, UZB, 500, Doc Airlines. Sound is good. All right, good. Bro, you have 1 to 2 minutes for SpaceX. Yeah, I mean, SpaceX has been falling basically every day here. It's down to 144. It's not falling a lot, though, but it's down. I think we got to just watch it. But it's been on a downward trend since its IPO, kind of adding to some of the tech worries and fears going on right now. Yeah, very sad weekend for sure, Ava. Very sad. Unfortunate. Are y'all bullish or bearish today? Markets are down a lot. Honestly, what a lot of it is going to depend on is whether we get geopolitical news coming out. Like more escalating tensions, more drama, more willing to maybe work for a deal. I think that's going to be a big story of the day, is just what happens in geopolitics today. And this is all heading into the CPI inflation report tomorrow. We get CPI inflation at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And so, yeah, let me know if you're bullish or bearish. We will do a poll here today for that. So let's go ahead and do a poll. Hold on. Are you bullish or bearish is going to be what the poll says. Yeah. Are you bullish or bearish on today's market? Yeah, I don't know why this mic keeps going out, but it does. Yeah, so President made some threats on Saturday, and there were also reports that have carried out another round of strikes Sunday. Iran targeted some stuff as well. Still, though, the Joint Maritime Info Center said the path along the Omani coastline is still available for transit. U.S. officials said around 20 commercial vessels transited the Strait of Hormuz in coordination with the U.S. military over the last 24 hours. And so, you know, there's some good news, but most of it's not good, and that's why oil is up as much as it is. And yeah, it's just a troublesome market this morning. If we look at Bitcoin and crypto here, let's take a look at Bitcoin and crypto. Bitcoin down to 63,000 roughly. Overseas, the Nikkei pulled back from resistance. Japanese exporters pressured by higher oil prices, concerned of more shipping disruptions. The Kospi was pressured by chip-related selling amid heavy losses in the likes of Samsung and SK. Despite the SK Hynix Ipo debut. And yeah, I see White House is planning to bring together utility companies and data center developers for voluntary pledge designed to ensure rapid growth in electricity demand for AI. But we'll see what that looks like. CENTCOM says U.S. forces did not strike Karg Island, though, which is good. But we're looking at other news here. Hey, what's up, IK Fred? What's up, Max? What's up, Tom? Yeah, it's definitely a red day so far today. Definitely a red day. Question, when I put the mic here, can y'all hear me well right here? If y'all can hear me well right here, I won't have to hold the mic, and that would be really nice. You should be able to hear me pretty good right here, so let me know. Are we good right here? Let me know. I'm showing mostly bears, but I mean, we're down a lot, so we could rebound back up some reasonably here. Again, gold looks low. If we take a look at yields today, and we do have Kevin Warsh's testimony this week. He does what's called the semi-annual monetary policy report. Okay, we're good. You can hear this? Okay, good. I'm just going to leave the mic here so it doesn't keep going out. Thank you, Max. Yeah, you'll just have to ship it from the Philippines, you know. I'll wait for it. Not yet, Deckers. Tomorrow. Or really today, but here's yields. Here's 2-year treasury yields. You can see how much we spiked over the weekend if we pull this up here. Look at yields spiking over the weekend. We're up to 4.225% and 2-year treasuries. If we look at 10-year, they're up to 4.5%. You can see the spikes that they did over the weekend from all this geopolitical stuff. 4.58%. So yeah, 10-year treasuries are over almost to 4.6% this morning on geopolitics volatility here. And we'll continue to monitor news. Again, the other big thing is SK Hynix. I mean, here's SK Hynix stock for the first time listed today in the US. So we do have that going on as well here. Let me get some of my sources up here to look. Yeah, see, U.S. forces did not strike Karg Island. Mostly it's geopolitics today. Iran TV said Hormuz is going to remain closed until the U.S. ends interference. And basically just a lot of strike stuff. We had Supermicro Semiconductors get its price target raised. What about memory today, though? Look, here's SanDisk. SanDisk is starting to rebound. SanDisk didn't drop as much as, like, MU did. So SanDisk is holding up some. But remember, now we can watch SK Hynix here to see what memory is doing. Citigroup raised the price target on Apple. Meta did some news. They said with data center expansion, they're going to invest $1 billion in local infrastructure improvements. Data center expansion is an investment of over $50 billion in Richland Parish region. I believe we also have Bowman speaking today. I'll have to see exactly what time. But I believe Bowman's supposed to speak today. Oh, they're already speaking. Okay. Bowman spoke about an hour ago. It doesn't sound like they said much regarding geopolitics or anything that what might move markets. But it's mostly geopolitics today. Higher oil prices ramping up, and really tech pullbacks here. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia's at 208s right now, so Nvidia's not doing as bad as it could be. It hit 212s. Had such a good day on Friday. It's now pulling back. It's at 208s. You can see the S&P 500 here. It's at 7,600 basically. It's pulling back a little bit, but not as much. And then the Dow, if we look at it, broke all-time highs last week. It's now at 52,881s. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Now, I didn't really hear about the alpha trading news. Yeah, I've been traveling. What happened with alpha trading? Somebody educate me on that. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's CPI won't be impacted, but you got to remember, tomorrow's CPI, guys. Like, this is something you want to take into consideration, but tomorrow's CPI is from June. I want to look at where oil prices were in June. So, oil prices most of June. They did creep lower in June, so, we should see lower or slower CPI tomorrow. Here's the month of June, basically right here, all the way to here. So let me do this better. So this is the month of June. So this is where the CPI report's going to show. It should show lower oil, but we'll see how long it takes for it to creep into inflation. There is a lag, but this is the month of June right here in terms of oil prices. Right, so you can see oil prices here. They did settle in June. They spiked back up a little bit the last few days, but even relative to the pullbacks we made in June, like at the start of June, we were at $95 a barrel for WTI crude. So we were at $95 a barrel for oil when we started June, and we faded all the way through June. Here's June's start, and then we faded all the way to where we ended June under 70. And so I still think we're going to get, inflation is expected tomorrow at negative 0.2%. Last time was 0.5% on the month. Inflation tomorrow is expected at negative 0.2. Year over year is expected to slow as well. Last time it was 4.2%, if you guys remember. This time it's expected at 3.8%. So inflation is expected to slow some here. Yeah, but we do have Kevin Warsh tomorrow. And I see at 5 o'clock, Lagarde is supposed to meet President, or Fed Chair Warsh today. So, I'll have to check and see if they're going to broadcast that live, and we'll try to cover it. But 5 o'clock. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be... We'll see if that moves anything, but they're supposed to meet Warsh 5 o'clock. Dr. Dumbard. Yeah, it's expected at 0.2% negative. We'll see if it shows up at that. But that's what it's expected at. Charts are untradeable. You may be afraid of any no-only unneeded news. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a market in which we can move things. Monday is very boring. I don't know. We got some pullbacks, man. We got more escalation this week, man. That's the story of the day. Is that oil spiked up again? It's at $74 a barrel. Nasdaq down, memory down, SK Hynix is down. Most tech stocks are down. Like here's Apple, but Apple's actually green. Microsoft is green. Google is red. Meta is red. Amazon is red. But it's really memory pulling back. So look at MU. MU's at 940s, hit 913s early this morning. So memory is really like the big one that pulled back pretty substantially here. Hey, what's up, Brian? What's up, VA? Yeah, we do have earnings season starting this week as well here. So I don't know what the biggest thing is, but we do have earnings season start. Nothing today, but I believe tomorrow we get bank earnings. Yeah, tomorrow we get Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and more. So tomorrow morning, you know, and remember, we do have CPI tomorrow morning as well. So we got CPI and bank earnings tomorrow morning. And then after that, we get the congressional testimony with Kevin Warsh. I believe he meets with the House first. But that is tomorrow as well. So tomorrow we got a lot of stuff. Again, looking at our poll, 55% are bearish this morning. I can't really hate the bearish outlook, although we are down some in memory. It depends on if memory starts to rebound here. The story is whether memory starts to bounce back. Yeah, and then we got Netflix Thursday. Yeah, I'll be here Thursday. I'll be here Thursday morning. I'll be back home today. Excited to see my dogs, and then yeah, we'll be here Thursday. We're gonna be home for the rest of the week, basically, after today. What's up, Bruce? How you doing, bro? Yeah, but can somebody explain what happened with Alpha? Is there news there? I'll have to look it up, but I heard a couple different people talking about it. And again, I've been traveling, so I didn't really catch any of this news if there is some. But what happened with Alpha? Okay, so I'm just now reading the news. Huh, yeah, I'm looking at it now. Interesting. Yeah, I'm reading all the news about Alpha now. Yeah, I'm searching it now. Yeah, we'll see if Hormuz opens. Again, oil, I don't know. I'm looking at memory dip buys, though. But it's a risky bet. But I don't hate. Yeah, MU's down. Britt's not here today, by the way. Britt had a doctor's appointment, so Britt is not here today. So everybody yell at him tomorrow when you see him for sure. You know, this is a eval account, but I might play with this morning. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's been bouncing back a decent amount this morning. Hey, what's up, Sean Kelly? Thank you for the subscribe, my friend. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Is this buy or sell on the NASDAQ right now? What do you guys think? I don't know. Short-term trade on MU, I'm watching it. You know what I'm really excited about, guys? I keep talking about this, but I'm excited for single stock futures going live July 27th. So we're going to be able to trade stocks and futures pretty soon. Yeah, we could look at SK Hynix here this morning. There's SK Hynix at 155.40s. It is down at IPO. Like, you can look at SKHYV. It opened up around 170s, 165s, but now SK is at 154, so it is down from where it was. But you know, you can see the actual SK opened up at about 150 or so. So I was trying to stream, when did the SK Hynix, the SKHYV open up on Friday? What time did it open up? I know people were saying 1 o'clock. Is that when it actually opened? Was 1 o'clock? Buy after the bell. Yeah, but he's got to drive to the doctor's office. So depends on the news. SK Hynix was down 15%, Samsung down 10%, Kospi down 9%. Yeah, they took a fall for sure. 11:30. Okay, gotcha. Before 1 p.m., after 9 p.m. Yeah, we will see. I might buy this dip though, but it is an eval, so I'm not going to be too crazy with it. I'm going to buy this little pullback here in the volume profile, see if we can get something. But bullish on AMD today. Yeah. Just be careful today, though, guys. Again, we got geopolitics, and so anytime we got geopolitics stuff, any tweet, any update, any escalation can really move markets up or down. So just be careful. And then again, CPI tomorrow, markets might be a little bit apprehensive ahead of the big releases. It's not just CPI as well. It's CPI, it's WARSH, it's bank earnings and more tomorrow. So I honestly, if I do anything today, I'm going to attack kind of like a choppy range. See if we can find something in a choppy range. What's your plan for the day, guys? Let me know. Yeah, I see the alpha news. What's up, Don? What's up, Ryan? Alpha with the massive L. I am in the US. How's the music? Is the music at a good level? Let me know. Alright, so we are green on this trade here. We'll see if we can hold. Just Google it, rooftop. I don't want to talk about it too much here, but okay, music's good. How about gold, bro? Gold is down. Gold reacts to yields, right? Like, gold wants lower yields. And what makes higher yields? More geopolitical tensions and high oil prices. Oil spiked, yields spiked over the weekend. More strikes, essentially more escalation, more verbiage coming out from both sides that was escalating. And yeah, essentially what we're seeing now is we're seeing yields jump up. You know, again, 10-year treasuries at 4.6% basically right now. 2-year treasuries a little bit lower, but they're still pretty elevated over the weekend. Oil's back up to $74 a barrel. People are worried that oil's going to continue to show high prices, and this is after CPI. You know, we pulled back some from CPI highs in oil. So Bear wants to finish the appointment before volatility. I work for banks, shorting all the sci-fi BS. The banks are going to cook tech. Yeah, Bitcoin down a little bit, but it's holding okay. I mean, it's at what, 63s right now? It's better than 50s for Bitcoin. So where's the bottom in Bitcoin, guys? I asked this question many times, but where's the low? The only longs I would take is, I don't know what that means. Thank John for the wake up early this morning and do give us updates. Yeah, we're giving you guys some. Yeah, we had a couple people here say the conflict would last for years. Maybe they're right at this point in time. I don't know, but there's a drop in the NASDAQ here. Let me check news. We did finally get my X page back, dude. They put my X page down for a little while. I knew they would give it back because it was just this weird algorithmic glitch. But we finally got it back. But look at this drop right now. Okay, so the UK MTO says one small boat is closed to 5 cables. And warning shots were fired, apparently. That dropped 6 minutes ago. I don't think that's moving anything. But 53,000 is the bottom, 48,000. Below 30. Tesla should be bouncing 52,000. I say 32,000 for Bitcoin. Yeah, the Korean indexes did get hit. SK Hynix is down. I'm in this trade. I'm going to reduce size and just take it small here. We got to find a good place to take a big risk in this eval, so we'll give it a second, but not really going the right way. Yeah, gold. Does anybody want to buy gold right now? I mean, gold at 4,000 seems like a steal long term. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, long term, I think it's still a steal, even if I'm wrong short term, though. But gold seems like a pretty cheap price relative to recent highs at 5,600s for gold. So does anybody want to buy gold where we're at now? Honestly, with gold, though, I've talked about this dynamic before. But with gold, it all has to do with geopolitics. Gold wants lower yields. And worse geopolitics pushes yields higher, pushes oil higher, pushes inflation higher. So gold dropping is a direct response to higher yields and higher oil prices from geopolitics. So like essentially a bet on gold short term would be betting that geopolitical tensions settle. I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of this. We're starting to see some drops here. I wonder if there's some verbiage coming out right now from geopolitics. Let's check. You know, again, I did say UK MTO says it received a report of an incident 50 NM south of Yemen's Aden. A tanker traveling east in the IRTC has reportedly been approached by 6 small boats approaching from the starboard side. Let's look at oil. Oil's not really moving here. I think some of this might be memory as well. It looks like memory's pulling back some to 935s for MU. We can look at SKHY, see it's dipping down some. We can look at SanDisk, see SanDisk is pulling back some. So the pullbacks recently in markets over the last 5 minutes seem to have to do with memory. NQ rejecting London high. I bought some gold today. Good morning. What's up, Gene? 3900s for gold. Yeah, I mean, it hit 39s last time and then bounced. So right around 4,000. People are staying away from gold. No one is buying gold in stores. It's too expensive right now. Yeah, I think people are worried. Like short term, there's risks in gold, obviously, from the conflict, right? Higher oil prices is bad for gold. That gold wants lower yields. When yields are up and when bonds are paying out much more from geopolitical tensions, less people buy gold because yields are paying out more, right? They gravitate to risk-off assets like yields, and I think, or like bonds. I think right now the story of the day is just risk-off sentiment popping up again. You know, so like markets pivot from risk-on to risk-off. If it's risk-on, they buy like crypto or gold or equities. When it's risk-off, when markets are nervous about inflation and oil and everything else, they pivot to bonds because bonds are guaranteed returns and the yields are paying out more. So gold short term is going to be directly influenced by yields right now, especially. And again, with gold going down, this is partly due to yields going up. So, but yeah, like I said, short term, I don't know what gold's going to do. Long term, it still seems cheap here, but you'd have to hold it for years and years to capitalize on that edge. So it's not, you know, again, it's not risk free. Forex is a boomer trade? I don't know, man. Speaking of boomers, though, here's the Dow. Dow's slightly red on the day. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Looking at news, but news is a little light. Let me check other sources here. Yeah, and I do see like Lagarde's supposed to speak with Warsh at 5 o'clock today. I don't know if they're streaming that speech publicly, but if I'm home, I'll cover it. But I don't know if they're streaming it publicly. And I did just see some news reports that says that a security incident occurred around the Bab al-Mandab Strait. According to ISNA, some sources say that an oil ship was targeted off the coast of Yemen. So that news just came out like a minute ago, but I don't really see oil moving with it, so it doesn't seem to be reacting, influencing markets here. Still watching SK Hynix though. What's up, Doc? I've owned gold since it was 800. Honestly, that's a pretty good hold. 3,900 might be a good support level, but 4,000 is tempting. Yeah, I mean, long-term 4K is tempting. But again, short-term, it's all going to be relative to geopolitical tensions, right? Like, what happens in geopolitics? If the conflict escalates and gets worse, then gold might continue to fall. Realistically. If the conflict continues to escalate, gold might continue trending down for, however long this conflict lasts, however long yields stay up. Gold probably will react negatively to it. And again, Bitcoin sitting at under 63s. Bitcoin is very similar to gold in that dynamic where Bitcoin wants lower yields and easing, and when inflation is high because of high oil prices, Bitcoin generally reacts negatively. Besant said there would be no central bank digital currency. Big correction time in what? In equities? In indices? Here's the NASDAQ here. We did bounce at that 200 EMA. Somebody's asking what my strategy is. It's usually like dip buying the 200 exponential. Trying to build up profit on the day and then taking more risk once we have more profit is usually what my strategy is, but it varies. Time for a correction. Look at the ETH triple bottom. I'm assuming you mean longer term triple bottom. I see a double bottom at 1500s for ETH. 1500 seems to be it bounced exactly at 1500s. You can see it right here. So 1500 seems to be a psychological level for it, but we will see. I don't know if it's going to affect crypto that much. I see people talking about Tesla. Tesla over 400s is okay. It's better than it was, but it's still red on the day. Maybe some rotation people were worried about for SK Hynix. SK Hynix seems to be holding the volume weighted average price though. Google reports. I don't know. Yeah, we got a bunch of big tech names. It's not just Google. We have it's mostly next week if I remember correctly. So we got some regional banks on Friday. We got Netflix on Thursday. We get bank earnings tomorrow. And then I'm looking at next week. I don't know. AT&T on the 22nd as well. Yeah, Tesla, Google, ServiceNow, IBM, and Texas Instruments next Wednesday. Thursday we get Intel. But it looks like most of the big boys outside of Google and Tesla are going to be reporting not this week, not next week, but the week after, is what it seems to me. The week of the 27th. Yeah, PayPal, Coca-Cola, Enphase, SoFi, Microsoft, ARM, Robinhood on Wednesday that week. Apple on Thursday. So I have a feeling they're artificially pumping the market before the big rug pull crash. Do we get a correction in markets over the next 2 months? What do you guys think? SpaceX, yeah, we're looking at SpaceX. It's down to the 140s today. It's not looking great. It's at 144s. So, and again, if you're just now tuning in, more geopolitical tensions over the weekend. Oil prices and yields are the big story of the day. They're pushing gold down. They're pushing, the dollar index down some as well. So here's the Dixie. It's down to hundreds. And the next month, yes, we do get a correction. Yes. Microsoft's interesting. Long-term, Microsoft's probably pretty cheap where it's at now, I think. It's been pulling back some from the 550 highs it saw later. Tom Lee thinks a correction around 10% is coming. Generally, once a year, we get at least a 10% correction. Now, this is all, you got to take the context of March in the Middle Eastern conflict into the equation when you're projecting corrections now. Because we already saw some big pullbacks from highs here. Now, we didn't really drop 10%, I think. And I think maybe the NASDAQ did. Let me see what percentage basis we pulled back on some of these here. So here's the NQ. We'll look at the NQ first here. NQ was pulled back from basically 31,000. We'll go ahead and call it 31,000. All the way down to lows of 28,900s. So NASDAQ has pulled back to about 6.5% relative to the all-time highs on the NQ. The S&P, honestly, the S&P is not really getting faded much to this here. So the S&P is actually holding up pretty well, all things considered. We'll see if it closes the year over 8,000. But there is S&P. S&P's close to all-time highs even, or no. Didn't we hit? Yeah, the S&P futures contract is close to all-time highs still. All-time high is 76.48. We're at 75.90s. So the S&P is not down much at all. The Dow broke all-time highs last week as well here. So this is mostly
orange. How will anyone know I like strawberries?
Missing.
my ears, guys. My ears. I don't know what that was, but I'm sorry, guys. My ears, dude. What the heck was that? My ears, guys. I'm sorry, dude. Scare me. Why don't you, bro? It scared me, dude. I didn't know what the heck was going on. Oh my goodness, dude. What the hell was that? Dude, the chat's yelling at me. I'm sorry. I knew y'all would be upset. I'm sorry. Immediately, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. I didn't mean it. Guys, I didn't mean it. Some people are saying I pooped my pants. Yeah, bro, listen. That's one of the sacrifices you got to make to watch the stream, I think. Coffee with a jolt of WTF. Yeah, listen. It freaked me out. I didn't know what the hell that was, dude. Yeah, it was a record scratch, too. Oh, man. Yeah, the lurkers came out after that, dude. Maybe that was my way to get you guys to speak here, but I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, yeah. It's funny, though. I can't lie. It's a little funny. I'm sorry, but it's a little funny. Alright, NASDAQ still dipping here. Starting to pull back more in the NQ. Yeah, we're getting more geopolitical stuff. Iran's PGSA says due to actions of U.S. forces, passage through Hormuz is currently unfeasible. As soon as stability and calm are restored, all applications will be reviewed in accordance with scheduled timeline and permitting process will resume. So more geopolitics coming out this morning. NASDAQ's not reacting well. They basically say Hormuz is closed indefinitely. It's not really moving markets like it used to, though, in terms of this news. But yeah. We needed that to wake up on a Monday. What's up, Sam? Oh my goodness, Sam, what happened to your eye, bro? Might have hurt my eye a little bit yesterday. Note to self, you are not a parkour athlete. trying to do front flips on the beach from 6 feet high. It's possibly unwise. I get it, Sam. Don't we all try to do parkour on a beach sometimes, you know? Way overdue for a correction. Like I said, market should be crashing, but they are artificially pumping it. Well, the NASDAQ's not pumping. Again, MU down, SanDisk down. So NASDAQ down, mostly on memory. SK Hynix down. A lot of the other names are kind of mixed. Google, Meta, Microsoft. So we're kind of mixed in other tech, but memory is down, is what this is. Kospi index was down overnight. And oil is up, so. He had to yell parkour. Say Max. If he did yell parkour, it did happen. Hey, what's up, Faye? Hey, good morning. Scared me so much I almost bought the dip on the NASDAQ. Visa stand strong, big week for news. Yeah, Britt's out today. He's doctor's appointment. He called me yesterday, said he wasn't going to make this morning. Yeah, we're going to start a task force to see where that sound came from, guys. I know what it was. You go to some websites, they hit you with ads that randomly show up all of a sudden. But the NASDAQ is a falling here. Look at the NASDAQ keep dipping right now, though, guys. Look at this. NASDAQ down. Still slumping down here. Let's check news. But the NASDAQ is still falling right now. OPEC cuts 26 oil demand growth forecast to 780,000 barrels per day. Yeah, more drama in the Middle East. I might short this little bounce now. But I also think sideways does make some sense here. Let's me short this and a tweet come out saying everything's going great. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Ride the momentum. Yes, sir. I guess I'm shorting, but I'm not going to short like a big boy account or anything. See if we get more escalating news. Waiting for manipulation. Did we get any tweets over the weekend? I didn't even check here. Let's see. Alright, nothing really that might move markets. Alright, so we are green in this. I'll probably add more to it though. But I think escalating tension is still causing some problems here. Oil's not moving though. It's up a little bit though, but not a lot. Let's see if these drops continue. Oh yeah, Conor McGregor, guys. I don't know what I believe with the Conor fight. I don't know if he was hurt prior to going in, but if he was hurt, that spinning kick makes no sense. That's the last kick you want to do with a blown knee. Coming from somebody who recently blew his knee out, you know, that's the last kick you want to do. Yeah, poll 54% bearish today, but what did you do? You guys think Conor McGregor was hurt before that fight? I think the only thing that kind of makes sense is that he had sprained it before the fight, and then that crazy kick just completely blew it out, is what I think. But who knows, man? Cash grab? He made 30 million. Yeah, Ed Sheeran was right. When your legs don't work like they used to before. Yeah, listen. Ask Connor. Yeah, it was the other leg. It wasn't the one he hurt last time, but yeah, it was nasty. I don't know, man. I think he shouldn't have come out swinging with that crazy kick. You know, he's not Edson Barbosa. You know, he does good kicks, but like, probably not the time to throw that kick. Yeah, Intel announced that an investment started earlier this year to enhance and increase capacity at their fabrication plant by 2027, according to an executive. So we did get some Intel news dropping right now. They're planning $5.7 billion investment at its Ireland facility. They're going to create hundreds of jobs at their Irish facility, says Executive Vice President. So Intel has some news. They jumped up originally when this news came out, but they've kind of faded back down, so they didn't get a good reaction. I mean, maybe it has to do with margins and stuff like that, but again, I'm still watching memory today. MU right at the 200 exponential at 930s. I'm paying attention to that level for sure. But we'll see what we get here. I'm watching memory for sure today. I'm watching gold. We might trade gold some today as well. Just depends on how it's looking. Yeah, I thought Bax was going to beat him up too. I didn't think I had my money on Bax. Connor taking a 5-year layoff. Max has gotten so much better since his last fight too. Alright guys. People talking about AMD today. What stock do you want to buy today? What futures contract? What asset? You want to buy gold, oil, the NASDAQ, the S&P, memory, SK Hynix is a story. SpaceX is a story. So trade the Dow. Maybe I'll trade the Dow for you today, Steve. Maybe, brother. Maybe. Right now, we did a poll earlier. Are you bullish or bearish on this market? 54% are bearish today. 54%. So we got some bears. Morgan Stanley also says they see profit boosts for stocks beyond tech. So they see U.S. stocks beyond the tech giants are poised to report strong earnings this season, they think. So they think non-tech stocks. Look at SK Hynix fall here. Look at SK Hynix drop 152.40s here. Hey, thank you, Kong. Appreciate the sub, my friend. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you for the sub. But look at SK Hynix down to 152s right now. I'm going to turn my mic up a little bit more just so I know you guys can hear me. I'm not really speaking directly into it, but that's alright. As long as it works like this works. Alright, so we are in this short right now, guys. It is dropping more here. I'm looking at news. President said a shutdown could happen in September if the filibuster is not resolved. So September potential shutdown happening according to the president if they don't get rid of the filibuster. I'm assuming this might be a tweet, but yeah, so shutdown happening potentially in December if the filibuster doesn't end. Oil did jump up a little bit too. NASDAQ still red. But I'll probably just sit in this and see if it breaks down some more here. Hey, what's up, Charlie? What's up, Vegas? SpaceX at 140s. Bought the Hynix dip. Trade gold, John. You can do it. I'll try to trade gold. Space and defense. Yeah, we'll give it some time. We might trade some gold. Depends on what happens. I hope we don't shut down again. I don't like shutdowns, obviously. Yeah, so we're still in this. I'm still shorting this. Hey, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, guys. We appreciate it. New here. Just checking this morning. See if I can get into some plays this fine morning. What's up? What's up, the Shah? The Shazi. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing well, brother. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on this week. Again, remember, guys. So we got CPI tomorrow. We have bank earnings tomorrow. We also have Kevin Warsh congressional testimony tomorrow and Wednesday. And then there's wording about Warsh meeting with Lagarde at 5 o'clock today. I don't know if that's going to happen, but there's wording around it. So we'll see. But a lot of stuff going on this week, specifically tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Netflix earnings. So we got a lot of stuff going on this week. I don't know which way the market's going to go either. It's a mix of geopolitics mixed with yield fears. High yields are scaring the market. Dropping gold. Gold is down on higher yields. Oil is spiking. CL futures at $74 a barrel right now. A lot of wording and verbiage about the Strait of Hormuz and over weekend strikes and stuff like that going on. So yeah, pay the like tax. It's like the cheese tax, but with likes. Do you do any futures and options trading? I mean, I'm in a futures trade right now, but hold on. It looks like we just got some type of news here. Oh, crap. I gotta get out of this. This is some type of news. Let's see what it is. Something just came out that wiggled markets. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. Let's see oil. No, it's on. Okay, hold on. Wait. Alright, go ahead, dude. Alright, guys, so yeah, look at oil jump. So oil's jumping right now. Now the NASDAQ just turned the other way. It's got to be some news, I'm assuming. Okay, so the president spoke on Iran and oil. He said, we're taking over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has nothing, end quote, U.S. president. So again, the president just said on Iran and oil, we're taking over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has nothing, end quote. NASDAQ originally went up on this. Now it's going down and oil is spiking. So this is some news that just dropped. That is what's moving markets right now. Again, president says we're taking over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has nothing. Let me see if these are Truth Social posts. Tweets. Man, I do not like Truth Social at all. But I don't think this is Truth Tweet, so yeah. Again, president said we're taking over the Strait of Hormuz. I guess I'm going to short this here. I've been getting faked out all morning, so... But again, this is just an eval. I'm not really taking my actual funded account in this. I guess I'll look for a continuation short, but... I guess we gotta full port this thing for the stream. I'll take 40. I don't know if that's full port, but... We'll take 40. Again, I'll put the... See, now we're losing on this one, too. Again, the recent news that just came out is this right here. I'll post it. But this is what's driving things today. Here it is. Yeah, I'm not taking these risks on a funded account. Yeah, I'm just not doing that. So we could just play with this thing. It's $17 account, so I mean... Strong wick. Yeah, I mean, we went up originally and... No, it's off. Go ahead and walk through. Oh. Yeah, it's Hormuz. This is the news right here. I'll put it up on screen, actually. But we are down. It is the song. Music is good volume today. Okay, good, yeah. Yeah, I'm watching everything else here. We'll see how gold's moving. I'm assuming gold's volatile from this as well. Maybe not. Oil, though. The net effect is oil is higher. It's at $74 a barrel. First move is the wrong move? Yeah, first move was the wrong move so far, but now it's starting to head back up, so... Whippy price action. You can see the spikes in oil from this. That's a terrible arrow. Here, look. You see the jumps in oil. I'm stupid up on the year. Is this buy or sell, guys? Alright, so now we're still kind of retracing down some here. I follow a bunch of them, little faker. Here's the NASDAQ on this. I mean, if I have to bet a side, it's down, but I don't think it's easy down. Alright, we're back to green on this trade. I'm going to start locking in some profit here. Hey, thank you for the sub, Carlo. Thank you, brother. I'm going to slowly start taking some of this off. I just don't trust it. But we are green. I'll take a little bit more off up there. There we go. Take a little more off up there. Did we get more news here? It could certainly be something like that. Look at that red candle. Okay, so we did have more news. Said we had a deal and they broke it. We hit them very hard last night. We'll be guardian of the Strait. Should be reimbursed and we're going to get paid for guarding the Strait of Hormuz, apparently, according to the president. So more geopolitics. He said Iran didn't get anything from me. Their leaders are professional negotiators. They haven't got anything. They didn't get anything from me. We had a deal and they broke it, he says. Hit them very hard last night. We'll be guardian of the Strait. Should be reimbursed and we're going to get paid for guarding the Strait of Hormuz. Hey, shout out to whoever else just subbed. I missed it. But, I guess down was the right day. Is it Truth posts? I don't see anything on Truth. It could be, like, there's so many ads, it's hard to figure out where the tweets are. But I don't see anything. There's got to be a way to look at just recent stuff. But yeah, I don't see anything on Truth. I don't know where these quotes are coming from, to be honest. Yeah, we're still updating for tweets. He said they're... Okay, so he's on Fox News right now. Is what he's on. So that's where the quotes are coming from here. I'm gonna take a little bit more off at the bottom here and just lock in more profit, I think. See if we keep dropping, maybe we'll add more to this. Britt's not here today. He's at a doctor's appointment. We'll hold the rest of this flat basically right now. Yeah. Starting to pop back up though, but it did move markets at least a little bit here. Where's oil? Oil jumped up almost to $74 a barrel. Again, I'm in this trade. I'll give it a little bit of time, but we'll hold the rest flat if it doesn't go my way. I will buy this dip in what? The NASDAQ or oil? The birds are gone, though. No more birds. Oh, yeah, Fox News right now is what I'm showing. Buy or sell the NASDAQ right now, guys. Buy or sell. What do you guys think? Yes, it is. Alright, so we're still dropping sub. Here, wait, it's on, bro. Here, Jet. Yeah, you're good. Alright, there's some more drops. Yeah, go out that side. Alright, so we're starting to see some more drops. I don't know if a quote came through the wire here. Let's check. But look at that red candle here. So I'm assuming we got another quote. But I don't see too much. Alright, so we're still dropping here. I'll take another third of this off. Want a more escalation. Again, the president over the last 5 or 10 minutes has said, we're going to get paid for guarding the strait. Should be reimbursed. We will be guardians of the strait. We had a deal and they broke it and so forth, right? So spiking oil, making the NASDAQ go down, a more geopolitics movement here. Jack, put a shirt on. Okay, put a shirt on first and then find your phone. Yeah. Sorry, my son's over here trying to find his phone. There you go. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we're still in this trade. Yeah. Okay, dude, you don't need it right now. Guardians of the Galaxy? Yeah, well, maybe today. Definitely Guardians of the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, he's speaking live right now. Yeah, more escalating quotes here is what's going on. Hey, thank you, Adam. Appreciate the sub, my friend. Thank you, brother. I don't know. It's not over here. Yeah, I'll call it. Hey, what's up from Hawaii? Money doesn't sleep. That's right, never. It's 3:30 in Hawaii right now. That's early, bro. That's early. And I think my 5:30 wake up time for this stream is early. Alright, I'm calling it right now, Jack. Alright, we're still dropping here. I'm still watching for quotes. Yeah, CPI tomorrow. Look at this red candle. Get another one. Yeah, still watching SK Hynix. Yeah, I called it. I don't know where it's at. Still dropping. Do we find a low on Bitcoin? I don't know. Bitcoin at 63s, under 63s right now. I'm trying to let this trade play out here. As soon as I saw the pullback from the geopolitical quotes, I figured it could be a short in the NASDAQ here. CPI is at 830. Alright, there's another red candle here. So we're still falling some. It's almost 8:30 now. I don't know what CPI is going to show up. It's expected at 3.8% for CPI tomorrow. So CPI is expected to come in lower than previously for CPI. So, you know, and that makes sense because in the month of June, which is when the CPI reading is from, we saw much lower oil prices. We saw much lower oil prices. And so now You know, we're getting lower CPI readings, but CPI is elevated from where it was. What's up, Ryder? Hey, thank you for the subscribe, my friend. All right, NASDAQ keeps falling. All right, so let's see if the NASDAQ ends up breaking this low. Bitcoin needs, yeah, strategy. Let's take a look. I'm in this trade. I am green. I'll come back to it. Strategy down to 92s, but yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, it's not the worst it could be, but Bitcoin at 62.75s. All right, guys, NASDAQ still dipping here. Morgan Stanley expects U.S. hyperscaler capex to reach 1.4 trillion by 2028. Still dipping in the NASDAQ. I feel an obligation to take a little bit more off here. And then we'll see what happens. But the NASDAQ's still fading a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be that FRB. We'll see. We would need much worse geopolitics, and we need memory plays to really correct. You know, here's MU. MU's dipping down. So some of these falls are memory related too. MU down under 930s right now. Sandisk still at 1800s though. Or actually no, Sandisk just dipped under 1800s. Might be a support level. We'll see. Yeah, the president's been on news speaking about geopolitics. That's something that's moved the market down and moved oil higher over the last 15 minutes. Yeah, the Kospi was down overnight, I believe. Here's SK Hynix. You know, it was at 170s for SKHYV Friday. It's now all the way down to 150s. 151s. So a lot of stuff is selling off right now. Again, the NASDAQ selling off a little bit. Not a lot though. I mean, look, we've had a big, you know, futures opened yesterday on Sunday. And we gapped down, which I think most people expected in futures yesterday, just because, you know, more geopolitical stuff over the weekend raised the price of oil, made people more pessimistic. We started to rebound back up, though, yesterday evening, but then we basically reversed and then didn't stop dropping until early this morning in markets. So we're still in this short, but 8:30 is upon us basically right now. We'll see what 8:30 does, but geopolitical stuff going on this morning. Moving markets. President also said he sees a shutdown in September, potentially another shutdown, which I hope does not happen, of course. I genuinely, obviously hope we don't get another shutdown. But the NASDAQ's still falling here. Yeah, Nvidia is the one, like, tech stock that actually is doing okay. But even it's dropping over the last 5 minutes. But here we go. We just broke that range low right here on the NASDAQ. We're still in the short. I'll add a little bit more to this and then hold it break even on the rest. I use social media and other stuff. I have a couple different sources. I'm not going to be super specific about them. Yeah, SpaceX at 140s, Faye. Yeah, for sure. SpaceX struggling. We don't have any economic data. We do have Waller speaking later. So Waller speaking later. And then again, Lagarde is supposed to speak at 5. I think she's supposed to speak with Kevin Warsh, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, VIX is popping because futures are selling off. And again, what asset do you guys want to buy today? Let me know. Yeah, now that we have SK Hynix to watch, we can get a direct look at foreign markets regarding memory in US. Top of the market was SpaceX. Yeah, maybe. ETH, SpaceX launching rockets tomorrow. Yeah, you don't want to buy anything today? I don't know. Maybe oil. You could argue oil buy. But look at these drops. We're still getting some sell-offs here. Some of this is memory though. So some of this isn't necessarily geopolitics related. Oil's back up to 74.10s though, continues to go up. So look at oil right here. Check other sources, see what news is coming out, but NASDAQ's, you know, pretty consistently breaking the ranges here. Okay, the president said some more, and we also had the Iran senior advisor retreating from the Strait of Hormuz has no place in the minds of any Iranian. The president said we held an 11-hour meeting yesterday with the Iranians. So an 11-hour meeting yesterday with the Iranians, and it doesn't sound like it went well, because if it went well, we wouldn't be getting some of these escalating, tweets and not tweets, but escalating quotes from the president. I mean, of course, some of it's posturing, which is normal, but an 11-hour meeting, apparently, the president said. But again, I don't think it did well necessarily here. NASDAQ still fading some. So we're still riding the short down. But yeah, yields are certainly driving this for sure. But that has to do with oil. Look at the NASDAQ. Look at this red candle here. Hold on. Here's a red candle. Yeah, but a lot of this has to do with yields, right? Like yields are just a reflection of oil right now. So, yields being up means oil prices are elevated, which means higher rate odds and higher, expectations for rate hikes. Speaking of all this stuff, if we take a look at the Fed watch tool here, number one, here's 10-year treasuries this morning. They're almost a 4.6% for 10-year treasuries. If we look at the CME watch tool in terms of like rate hike odds, currently we're sitting at 34% chance that we're going to raise rates this year, or next meeting. 34% chance that we're going to raise rates next meeting. By December, we have a 86% chance that we close the year with higher interest rates than we have now. All right, I'm going to take a little bit more of this off, lock it in, and then continue to kind of trail it down. Yeah, Apple claims OpenAI hardware chief used job interviews to solicit trade secrets. Yeah, president, yeah, for sure. NASDAQ's still falling here, though, man, look. Yeah, we're still falling here this morning, guys. Do you like the calm music better or the exciting music? Still down, though. We're starting to get into that high volume area, so I don't like it as much, so I'll probably take this off here. Alright, so we're out of our short. We've dropped a decent amount since up here where we entered. Calm. The ha 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 music. Could see the historical 4-year July dump today. For red days. I'm taking a break today. Yeah. I feel like I'm in a shop in a Final Fantasy game. Yeah. Those shops were lit though, man. The shops were great. Yeah, again, the president 3 minutes ago said we held an 11-hour meeting with the Iranians yesterday. Again, it couldn't have gone well, because if it did, we wouldn't be hearing all the stuff going on this morning. But that's where we're at now with all this stuff. But we're out of our short. Let's see what happens now. Still checking for news, but... Alright, so the president's interview did end, so we shouldn't get any more geopolitics quotes here. I'm wondering if this is a buy right now. Again, the president said we had an 11-hour meeting yesterday. The interview did just end. Let's see if we keep dropping. Macy's? Bro, I haven't looked at a Macy's chart in I don't know how long. NASDAQ's still fading though. Look. Calm. I don't know, man. We'll see what the CPI report shows tomorrow. CPI is going to affect Bitcoin and other risk-on assets like gold and stuff, just because it has to do with yields and it influences yields. CPI is expected at a negative 0.2% month over month tomorrow and a 3.8% year over year. So we are seeing some slowdown to inflation, which again makes sense. I showed this chart earlier, but if you're looking at oil prices in June, CPI report is from this period right here. So here is June CPI month. Started here, went all the way to here, right? So in the month of June, we did see oil prices fade pretty much the whole month. So it makes sense that we're expecting lower CPI today. Now, we are elevated some from the lows in June. You know, we were at 68s to end June, basically. We're at 74s now. But even with this recent elevation here, we're now up to here in oil prices, right? So we're now up to here. So we've rebounded some. I would say maybe a quarter of the move down in June. We've rebounded since June has ended. And so we'll see what CPI says. You know, CPI coming in hot, obviously bad for Bitcoin, obviously bad for gold, obviously, you know, pushing yields higher. But yeah, I think markets in risk off mode a little bit this morning on more geopolitical uncertainty is what a lot of this is. Yeah, we do have bank earnings tomorrow. CPI will be cooler tomorrow. Buy the dip, sell the rip. I'm waiting for Delta to flip. Earnings are going to tank the markets, you think? Maybe. Maybe we see a tank of the markets in earnings. It's possible for sure. Yeah, what number do you guys think CPI shows up as? I'll give you my prediction tomorrow. I don't think 3.7 is a bad prediction though for it. Slightly lower than expected. I think 3.7 makes sense. Well, we don't see earnings for them until next week. At some point, a rising CPI will be positive for gold. Yeah, I mean, it's an inflation hedge as well, but short-term gold fears higher yields, and higher yields means risk-off assets. And so gold and crypto short-term should react negatively to higher yields, and that's what we're seeing this morning. Gold's almost down to 4K. And so short-term, that is the reaction that we're potentially seeing here, but long-term, I mean, obviously, it can pivot to more risk, inflation hedge dynamic with gold. But it's not an easy thing to predict. 4.1%. Taiwan Semiconductors is Thursday. Yeah, for sure. All right, NASDAQ still breaking the bottom of that range here. We are in a high volume area, so that's why I got out of this. President's also done speaking, so we might not see the big reactions to, you know, like we see during some of the posting of his verbiage with stuff. AI infrastructure plays consolidation. Yeah, so again, another story that we've been talking about the last few days is Burry. You know, was Burry correct? He's pretty green on everything, I think. Oil continues to rise too. Look, it's at $74 a barrel here. But remember, Burry is shorting Caterpillar. It's down to 930s. I think he's shorting this from like 1060s. He's shorting Tesla. I can't remember where the Tesla short was. I think it's like 4 something, 416s maybe. He's shorting MU at 1050. It's at 923 right now, so he's up on that one. Also, what else is he shorting? He's shorting MU. He's shorting Tesla. He's shorting. Hey, thank you for the subscribe, my friend. W, thank you, brother. Appreciate the love, man. Thanks. But he's shorting MU. He's shorting Tesla. He's shorting Caterpillar. He's shorting. What else? What's the other one? Chat, help me out here. What am I forgetting in Burry shorts? Yeah, we said Caterpillar already. We said MU. We said Tesla. Oh, Applied Material, AMAT. That's right. AMAT. All right, so yeah, his recent shorts are in SOX, SOXX, so chip ETF, MU, Applied Material, Caterpillar, Nvidia, and Tesla. I don't remember where his short entry is on Nvidia though. But I guess the question is, was he right? Was Burry correct here? What's up, Blurry? What was the entry at his Nvidia short though? It's at 207.5s right now. So what was his entry? I know he's green in basically everything else. But what was his entry in Nvidia? 198s? Okay. Yeah, he's down on Nvidia, but green on everything else. Everything is down though, not just Burry's calls. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everything's not really down. It might be down from where he entered though. 198s. No, he's wrong. He is long Adobe and other software as a service companies. Yeah. He is bag holding Adobe. Is he long in Adobe? I don't like it. I mean,
long term, Adobe's in trouble. But they could pivot and do other things. You know, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. Like they could pivot. I mean, they're losing tons of business to AI. You know, coming from somebody that, again, I used to have to pay people $10, $15 a pop for thumbnails. Now they're created in 15 seconds. And that kind of shows the whole bear case argument for Adobe. At the same time, though, Adobe has already dropped a lot. You know, Adobe was at 500 and something a few years ago, 700s basically, in 2021. It's now down to 223. And so the bull argument for Adobe is that it's down so much already that maybe it, you know, we'll see. What's the PE ratio for Adobe right now? Yeah, PE ratio of Adobe 12-month PE is less than 13, 12.79 is what I'm showing for Adobe. And maybe this will be a relevant thing into the earnings season coming out, but yeah, they got some AI features built in and that's great, but they're still going to lose business for them. Like Photoshop and all that stuff is much less needed now with AI. Very shorts are based on overvaluations. People hate AI and are coming back to handmade stuff. Well, yeah, listen, brother, I got a job for you, dude. I want you to make me a wooden thumbnail for my YouTube stream. Let me see how that works, but I need it wooden. You know, we have class here. You know, we have sophistication. Build me a wooden thumbnail, sir. I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it. Yeah, I like Netflix long term. I've said it. They're getting into live sports and more. And that's good for Netflix. You know, they lost Stranger Things, which is their biggest show. I still like Netflix, though, long term. Short term, I have no idea what they're going to do, but long term. Some of y'all understood the thumbnail joke. I mean, pretty obvious. But I missed the Salesforce dip and was ready to buy Meta back. 165. Don't blame me for exuberance. Well, as long as your exuberance isn't irrational, sir, you know. I'm not blaming you for your market takes. As long as you don't tell me the market's going to crash every day, you know, you're okay. Is the market in an irrational exuberance, though? Again, this quote, if you don't understand the context of what we're saying here, in the late 90s, about 4 years before the internet bubble burst, Alan Greenspan, he recently passed away, rest in peace, but Alan Greenspan famously said the late 90s market was in a state of what he called irrational exuberance. But again, he predicted this 4 years before the bubble actually burst. And so I think the lesson in this is that we might burst eventually, but it might be years, and if you're too early, you're still wrong in a lot of ways, right? So I think that's what you got to look at. That's the lens you need to look at the current AI situation under is, yeah, we may be correct, we may be crash eventually, but it might be years from now still. We'll see. Oracle's a good company regardless of AI impact. Yeah, that's what I expected people to send me, May. A wooden digital thumbnail. Yeah, that's right, Drop, you know. It's all over, it's crashing. No, we're definitely pulling back some right now. I'm thinking about buying this dip right here, though, in the NASDAQ. What do you guys think? Is this a dip buy? The president's not speaking here. We're down a lot anyway. We'll buy a little bit. We'll take 10. AI bubble will burst. Could take another 3 years. Yeah, 100%. The difference is that companies implementing AI are already hugely profitable. PE ratio for the market is going down. Not what you see in a bubble. Gold's a choppy mess. Yeah, gold's just moving with yields. Yields are back and forth, bro. Yields over the last few months are up and down and up and down and up and down. Just rate hike odds, wash, oil, you know. Like, yields are really what's choppy. I mean, gold is choppy because of yields, but yields are choppy. If we can't rise with oil at this low, it's already over. Yeah, we got Eli Lilly today. Is it this evening for Eli Lilly? Look at this trade. German foreign minister says we condemn the attacks shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and on other countries in the region. Alright, I guess I gotta take a little bit off here. I mean, quickly. We've rebounded so fast. I mean, I think I have to, no? Again, we got June inflation dropping tomorrow, guys. Remember, CPI inflation data dropping tomorrow. We got about 45 minutes until the opening bell. Bro, I'm glad I wore this sweater in here because it's cold right now. It's not warm in this room. Oversold bounce right now. Yeah, I mean, I think it made sense. A lot of these drops happen from the quotes we got from the president. Now that he's done speaking, we're down a lot. Oil has been consistently pushing up though. I mean, look, here's WTI crude. 74.30s, high of the day, right around 75. So we start to get closer to that. I'll jump back in short here, really. But I do think that this was a little oversold from that recent move. So Apple had its price targets raised by Citigroup to 365 from 315. Fed rate hike odds now 34% for next meeting. All-time high this week. I mean, the S&P and the Dow could break all-time highs. You know, S&P and the Dow are close to all-time highs still. NASDAQ is, 6% away or whatever. So NASDAQ still got some room before it gets up to all-time highs here. So it depends on what we're talking about. Short calls on U.S. oil to keep the short bias. Yeah, I mean, if you think we're going to continue to see, it's not looking like harmony is coming anytime soon. And so that could be a bull case for oil in USO. Yeah, I mean, the Dow is just rotation out of tech. NASDAQ's tech heavy, the Dow not so much. So, yeah, it's just rotation out of tech is the reason the Dow is up where it's been. Still moving up though on the NASDAQ here, bouncing a little bit. We're at 29,700s right now. So still creeping up some. Yeah, with bank earnings tomorrow, the Dow should move. Depending on what banks do. What do we have tomorrow? JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. Yeah, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and more tomorrow morning. And this is, most of these are going to come out before CPI. So we'll see what that looks like. But most of these drop at like 6:30, 6:45 Eastern. I remain bullish. Let's see the NASDAQ climbing at the open. Yeah, I mean, we're down enough to where that thesis doesn't necessarily look crazy. Buy or sell the NASDAQ right now, heading into the opening bell. What do you guys think? NASDAQ's starting to rebound, though. There's oil. Oil's at 74s. That. All right, so Iran just spoke. They said won't be forced to pay enemy for ship passage. So they're just going back and forth. They say they won't be forced to pay enemy for ship passage. Nasdaq still heading up some though. Look. Oh, I'm gonna add some to this and then hold it break even up to the 200 exponential potentially here. We just added some to this. We'll see what happens on the rest. Yeah, the president said we held an 11-hour meeting yesterday with Iran. But we're getting different escalating quotes back and forth. Look at oil fall. Oil's dipping a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we got a little bounce back. We could just be extended here, though. John's trading much better. Diamond hands? Definitely diamond hands. I might sell in 3 seconds, but definitely diamond hands. The Delta Airlines CEO reiterated higher-end consumers doing well. Alright, we're still heading up close to that 200 exponential here. Yeah, the Dow is much less consolidated or much less diversified, but it's less tech heavy. All right, we're gonna take some off here as we get closer to the 200 EMA. I just want to lock it in and not give all of it back. We'll see if the rest keeps bouncing though. Again, 3 minutes ago, Iran said they won't be forced to pay the enemy for ship passage. And this is after the president earlier said, we're taking over the Strait of Hormuz. Alright, we're going to start to sell. We're seeing some selling pressure. We're going to just go ahead and cut the rest. Lock in, basically, most of that profit. Where's memory? 925s. Here's SK Hynix. It's back up to 153s. So some of this is just memory rebounding back up too. Alright. There's SK Hynix rejecting right around the VWAP here. And the 200 EMA is pretty close to where we're at now. Here's MU, we're at 920s. Retrace, then drop. Yeah, so there's a big story from Friday. A couple people in the chat mentioned it. So Apple is suing OpenAI in the U.S. District Court in Northern District of California. What they're alleging is that systemic trade secret theft and breach of contract. So they're basically alleging OpenAI had systemic theft across every level of OpenAI. 400 plus former Apple employees now working at OpenAI. They used a security bug to access Apple Cloud storage. We had Lou's message quoted as, "LOL, I found out I can access the network storage, so funny." He's definitely got to be a millennial, I'm assuming here. Anybody that uses LOL heavy, I use LOL heavy. Definitely a millennial. But they say he downloaded confidential technical specs for unreleased products. He had show and tell sessions with batteries, logic boards, and SIPs. He circulated Apple offboarding docs teaching how to evade security, is what they're alleging. That's a big company suing another big company. So they had a partnership that they announced in 2024. Cook and Altman had a White House dinner in September of last year. And now there's a full-scale lawsuit. Apple ditching OpenAI for Google, Gemini, and Siri. Yeah, look at oil fade here. Right at the VWAP 200 exponential. I don't see any quotes moving things, but that's probably NASDAQ bouncing had something to do with that. Let's see if oil hits this 74 VWAP area and bounces. Delta CEO says we'll do just fine with higher oil prices. Says oil will stay sticky for longer. Regarding Delta Airlines. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not a baby boomer. I like the Dow, though, baby boomers, you know. Love to the Dow. Don't hate me, boomers. Yeah, NASDAQ's still sitting pretty close to that 200 EMA. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't like either way here. We could reject it, the 200 exponential. But I got to just wait now. We're almost to 9 o'clock. Let's see what the 9 a.m. scrum does to the market here. But I like the boomers here. Listen, my dad's a boomer. My mom's a boomer, you know. Boomers raise me, okay? I like you guys. I like the Dow, you know. Don't throw tomatoes at me or something. What? My son says throw tomatoes at me. I probably deserve it, really. You know, some of my jokes here definitely deserve tomatoes, and that's all right. Right, Jack? Would you agree? Dude, my jokes hit. Okay, my jokes hit. You know, that's arguable, but. Do you ever trade the SPY? I trade the S&P. The ES is what I trade, which is the S&P. It's SPY's the S&P. ES is the S&P. So different vehicle, but yeah, I basically trade it. Jack, they're throwing tomatoes at me right now. I blame you, Jack. Hit the road, Jack, and don't come back. You know. Is that a tomato-worthy joke? It might be. Hey. Oh yeah, there's the dad joke. Yeah, that's right. It like I said, I probably deserve it. Yeah, again, stock futures are down today. Hormuz fears. Here's the NASDAQ. Here's oil. Heading into the opening bell. We gotta watch SK Hynix. Memory. Look. Sorry guys, I know that's loud. There's SK Hynix. We're watching that today. We're watching MU, which is all the way down to 925s this morning. Do y'all ever wonder how everything will shift once all or most of the boomers? Yeah, I mean, there'll be a shift for sure. There already is, kind of. Meta's Louisiana data center is topping 250 billion. Hey, that's my side of the world. Again, SK Hynix stock is dropping. Chip sector declines. AI trade fears are here. Burry shorting heavy chip names. Caterpillar, Applied Material, MU, SOX, Tesla, Nvidia. I don't know, man. I think MU's close to lows of the day. We start to break down close to that 913 level on MU. We might see a following in a follow in the rest of the market. Y'all ever wonder how? Yeah. I work too hard on my tomatoes. I get it, bro. Listen. NASDAQ's still inching higher here, though, look. So I wanted the 200 EMA. I got out a little early, maybe, here on the NASDAQ, but it's starting to inch higher. I see Kazakhstan's oil production dropped by 8.4% in the first half of the year, according to them. No Sarge, no giveaway right now, bro. Maybe later, maybe. Yield strike, yeah. Let's take a look at yields. I haven't looked at them since early in the morning. We have seen oil rise, though. Again, here's 2-year treasuries. They're up to 4.227% right now. They are all elevated over the weekend, obviously. Yeah, here's yields. You can see the weekend spike in yields. And this is really what's negatively impacting gold. You know, everything else has to do with oil. NASDAQ just tapped the 200 exponential. Where's gold at? I might trade gold some today. Although gold's not really looking favorable for a trade. It's pretty flat. Ahead of CPI, you know. We'll see what gold and Bitcoin do from CPI, but we do have CPI. Hey, there's the 9 a.m. scrum here. Let's see what 9 o'clock does to equities. Hope SOX goes to 1,000. That's the short one, though, isn't it? All right, look, here's the 9 a.m. scrum. We are rejecting at the 200 exponential. So we are rejecting a little bit here. All right, but there's 9 o'clock. We did reject the 200 EMA. Short the 200. Yeah, I was thinking about it, honestly, but I've had such good reactions the last few. I don't want to push too heavy. I don't want to get greedy and try to, you know, snipe the bottom. Ride it all the way up to the 200 exponential and then take it the other way. I mean, I don't think it necessarily is a bad idea, but just for greed management. I'm going to start a task force for greed management. But for greed management, you know. I think it's a bad idea. Yeah, I think we could push up over it and start to rebound with how much we're down on the day. That's the reason I don't want to take it. I mean, you know, we could obviously go the other way, though. We could go down, hit the 200 exponential, and then downtrend. But it's kind of middle range. I try not to diddle in the middle too much. And with that said, we just ripped. Look, this might be news related. Look at this. Might not be, but let's see. Qatar sets August maritime crude OSP at Oman, Dubai minus 5 BBL, land crude OSP minus 4.5 BBL, according to a pricing document. Alright, look at that candle here, guys. This could be news. Look at that green candle here. Is this a tweet? Let's check. Could be 9 o'clock movement as well, but... No, I don't see anything. Good thing you didn't short, yeah, for sure. Effective Fed funds rate, 3.62% for the 10th. Yeah, I don't know what popped the market like it did, but something did. We're kind of at the point of control area, too, at 750s. So we get over 775, maybe, but until then, I gotta wait. NASDAQ continues to rebound, though. Let's look at MU. SK Hynix. Starting to see some rebounds. I don't know if it's news driven, but we are seeing some movement here. Apple's moving up some, so Apple just broke highs of the day a minute ago. What's the Dow doing? Here's the S&P. Yeah, I mean, we got the largest candle we've seen since the last like 30 or 40 minutes, but I don't see any catalyst for it. Apple seems to be what's moving. Yeah. Yeah, Apple suing OpenAI as well. I do see that Iran's top joint military command says Iran will not allow the U.S. to intervene in the management of the Strait of Hormuz. So I do see that going on. But I don't think... Let me look at oil. Oil did just spike up a little bit on that. But the NASDAQ's kind of moving with it, so shows it's probably not geopolitics. Interesting here. Yeah, Nvidia's moving sub. MU moving sub. SanDisk is, yeah. SpaceX still at 143s. Here's the dollar index. We're at 100.9s right now in the Dixie. Suing Dollar Tree for not having anything for $1 anymore. Yeah, I'm going to take a short position and then announce my lawsuit of Dollar Tree. I went in to go buy a pack of gum and it was $5. And now I'm mad. You know. Traded real smart. Here's the Dollar Tree though. Yeah, a lot of this seems like Apple. Look at Apple. Apple's up to highs of the day at 317s here. Here's the question now. We're retesting the 200 EMA. And remember, you can use my code BGT on everything. Lucid's great. Has end of day drawdowns and everything. For Lucid. Once you're funded on Lucid Flex, there's no DLL beyond the initial trail and no consistency rule as well. So Lucid Flex, some of the best accounts to get funded in. If you want to check them out, here's the link. We appreciate the love. Great way to help support the channel. And for the time being right now, Apex also has a pretty big sale. So there's the Lucid link. But Apex also has a pretty big sale where I believe you can get 5 50K accounts for $85. Or no, I'm sorry. For $95, you can get $19 each accounts on Apex. Look at this pullback, though. Hold on. Let's see if something's going on. I'll put the Apex link up here if you want to help support the channel. See if any news is coming out right now. Code BGT will get you the discount and everything. Here's the Apex link. I'll pin the Apex link to the top of the chat if you want to help support the channel. But we are kind of whipping back and forth in price action here. We just tested the 200 exponential. Only thing I see is that Iran's top joint military commander says to leaders of regional countries, any cooperation with the U.S. will be considered an act of conflict, you know, and that's me paraphrasing it a little bit, but let's see if we hold the 200 EMA. They do have an activation cost, but until the 14th, it's like $59 or something like that, if I remember correctly. I might be off on the price. It's something like that. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But again, I'm biased. They're an affiliate of mine, so I'm biased. Code BGT, though, if you want to help support our free content. We try to report the news as fast as we can every day, so you can help support us. Use code BGT on Lucid, Take Profit, Apex, Tradeify. All of them are great, and yeah, you can help support the channel. Yeah, Iran's top joint military command says any attempt by the U.S. to transit the strait without Iran's authorization will be strongly confronted. So we see that news coming out, but I don't know if that's moving things. Could be what pushed the market down. Here's oil. And oil's volatile today. $74 a barrel basically right now. When do you guys think this conflict ends, by the way? Let me know in chat right now. When do you guys think the conflict ends? We did a poll. 57% bears on market. If we dip under the 200 exponential and then rebound, I might short that. So if we get down to like 710s and then rebound to 720s, I might short into that. Look for a head and shoulders on a short-term chart. If we pump into the open, I'm shorting. In a few years, not soon, never. We're on the backside already of the conflict. $20.70. At least a year, probably longer, somebody says. Not until another conflict takes its place. I hope it's not that long. Labor Day? When's Labor Day? I don't know when Labor Day is. I gotta look this up now. He did say Labor Day. September 7th. Alright. Time's ticking. Bitcoin went 62,000 today. 5 to 10 years. Oh, I hope it doesn't last that long, Sam. I mean, it's possible. I hope it doesn't, though. If I'm already tired of covering geopolitics, if it lasts that long, I'm really going to be tired of covering it. Every day is Labor Day. I need to dip down to 710s before I short into a pop here, though, on the NQ. I gotta just wait. Bitcoin 60,000 today, easy. It depends on oil. If oil keeps jumping, maybe Bitcoin hits 60, but it's going to depend on oil. Bitcoin wants low yields, risk on mood. Right now we have risk off mood and high yields today, but yields are already up some, so we need more escalating things for Bitcoin to get that low today. I mean, it depends on how things take off at the opening bell, but again, crypto wants lower yields, right? And yields are up already on the day, and Bitcoin has already kind of reacted to those yields, if that makes sense. And so in order for Bitcoin to get that low, we need to have like we need to have worsening geopolitical things, which is obviously possible. But with that said, Bitcoin down to 62.5s. Rally at the open doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't know. I've watched markets for a long time, and one of the things that is ultimately true is that you have no idea which way markets are going to go. We can be down big and then run at the open and then reverse in the evening, right? We could be up big and then drop at the open and then reverse up in the evening. Like anything could essentially happen here. I don't know if it's necessarily easy to predict opening bell movement here. Generally, the lower we are, the more likely it is that we go the other way at the opening bell. And I would say there's some edge there, but again, it's not a perfect edge, and there's going to be days where we do the complete opposite, where we have continuations at the bell and more. So at the very least, we should see some volatility get unlocked at the open. We'll see, though. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Bitcoin can drop separately. Yeah, it certainly can. We'll see. Yeah. Bitcoin's bottom, I'm going to go with like 55s. For Bitcoin's bottom. I don't know, though. I really don't. I mean, Bitcoin could drop lower than that. It depends on, I mean, I'm going to go with 4-year cycle starting in September. So, you know, it just depends on how low we get before then to see if we get some rebounding from the 4-year cycle thesis. Your best edge is to bet against me? I believe that. I believe that. Jonathan, get out of here with that. With lots of proprietary data, you have a minor edge if you're in the top 95%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Monday, I have a long on Bitcoin, NASDAQ. New York open to 62,000, then bounce. For crypto? Maybe. No data today, though. All the data is consolidated towards the rest of this week. CPI, bank earnings, Netflix earnings, Warsh testimony, and PPI data. So we got CPI, PPI, Warsh, bank earnings, Netflix earnings, and more this week. So it's a busy week for sure in terms of data. We'll see what we get. But again, Warsh twice a year is supposed to do what's called a semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress. All right, so Jerome Powell was supposed to do it in the first half of this year, but because of the subpoena he was getting from the Fed building, he declined to do it. So we actually didn't get the first half of the semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress this year. We get the second one tomorrow and Wednesday. And I believe, it's hard to tell if Warsh is actually speaking with Lagarde publicly today at 5 o'clock, but there's some stuff circulating about that as well. Task Force, yeah. ASML, yeah. Alright, we might look for a little bounce here. We'll give it a second, but we might look for a little pop. "15 minutes before the opening bell. CPI will not make any difference if oil prices are up and we are at war." Well, no, I mean, that's true, but you also have to look at it in the context of how much oil prices are up, right? They're not up from where they were in June that much. Like, we dropped a lot in June down to like 68. We're back up to 74, but we're still down a lot relative to where we were for the last CPI report for May, right? The May CPI report came in at 4.2%. That's a month where oil prices were really, really high. And we settled most of June before rebounding back up in the last few weeks from the MOU basically ending. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is the CPI report will probably show oil settling. If it doesn't, like, let's put a scenario out there for CPI. And let's say CPI shows up higher than expected. Let's say it shows up at over 4%. That might be a situation where markets get really, really nervous, yields spike, rate hike odds increase, and more. Because what that's going to show is that even prior to the recent elevation in oil, inflation was still over 4%, right? So again, that's a situation where if we come in higher than 4% tomorrow, that's really, really bad, obviously, and I think markets will not love that. I think yields are going to jump, gold's going to dump, dollar index will go up, and we'll see dynamics like that in markets tomorrow if it comes in over 4%. Now, that's a big if. It's expected at 3.8%, and it's actually expected negative on the month tomorrow. It's expected at negative 0.2%. But, again, just putting some scenarios out there. We show up over 4% tomorrow. That's bad, obviously. And that's going to freak markets out ahead of Warsh's testimony. So, again, what do you guys think CPI shows up as tomorrow? So, we're still getting drops here. So, we're still starting to fade. I don't know if I want to bounce now. I might have missed it. Let's watch this 700 level. Yeah, Warsh at 10, CPI at 8:30. Yeah, tomorrow's a big day. You freaking me out tomorrow? Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think we're going to show up over 4%. I think with the decrease in oil prices, that's a big, that would be big if we did. But I don't necessarily think we're going to. Again, what do you guys think CPI shows up as tomorrow? What percentage? I'm going to go with 3.7 right now. I might change it for tomorrow, though. Let me see if I can short this little pop here. Hold on. Oh, we have 12 minutes. I missed the pop. 3.7. I don't hate 3.7. We're at 154s, 4.2%, 3.5%, 3.9, hot at 4.2. I hope we don't show up hot. If we show up hot tomorrow, that is bad any way you look at it. With the decreasing oil prices we saw in June, hopefully it's not still over 4%. Again, that's a situation tomorrow where it could freak markets out if we show up over 4%, because that means that, like, even with the decrease in oil prices, the inflation is still sticky, and then that's not even including the recent spikes to oil. And so once those get taken into the picture, that could obviously make things even worse and scary for tomorrow for sure. Again, I don't necessarily think we're going to do that, but it's possible. All right, guys, 10 minutes until the open. Scared. Long? Nah, I'm not long in anything right now. I wanted to short after we broke back under the 200 exponential, but we're kind of fading quickly here ahead of the opening bell. We also get the market on open data in 5 minutes. That could move things. So, checking news, but I don't see anything too crazy right now. Yeah, Bitcoin falling. Yeah, I heard people saying 60,000 today, but Bitcoin is fading down. It's at 62,330s. Easy long, Bitcoin breaking down. Heading into the opening bell, are y'all bullish or bearish? What do you guys think? To sell the news today, big news tomorrow. I think we could get sell. We could also get chop. Depends. Sometimes ahead of CPI, we get flat action. And especially with Wash as well as big bank earnings tomorrow. Markets could be a little bit more nervous today and trade ranges. Trade in ranges. But, you know, again, that's just speculation. 59,000 is the bottom. Yeah, Bitcoin's still falling here. 62,330 is bull. I'm just watching, no clear trend. Made my target during Asia and London, waiting for direction. Good luck, Tom. Bear. FOMO. I think the open is long. Sell the news. Not sure about after the open, but open is long. Yeah, maybe. We gotta watch memory. I think SK Hynix opens up for the first time. So we're gonna watch that for sure. 153s right now. Oil slipping. Yeah, oil's all the way down to 73.5s right now. Market on open data is coming soon. Blackstone apparently is going to take a stake in Williams Power for $5.34 billion. Pump and dump. Yeah, I mean, you could argue either side here. Oil's still fading, though. Look at oil. Oil under 74s is at 73.5s right now. A lot of demand on Monday open. The question is whether there's enough selling to overcome it. Yeah, we're watching MU for sure. But look at oil dip. SpaceX IPO. Piling into the SK Hynix is cool. Always a lot of demand on Monday. Alright guys, here, let's get ready for the market on open data coming soon. Look at oil fade though, so oil's dipping here. The weird thing is that the Nasdaq's not really rising with it though. So like oil's dipping, sure, but the Nasdaq's also down. So what we're seeing is like oil dips, but the Nasdaq is also dipping. It's not really trending against it like big geopolitical news. Yeah, and it could be crypto related here. Bitcoin dipped all the way to 62.3s. It's back up to 62.4s. Yeah, I mean, market news could definitely catch you off guard. We'll see. Alright, let's see what we get here. But there's Bitcoin bouncing back. Again, I'm watching MU and SK Hynix. SpaceX 143s. Nvidia's at 207. So Nvidia's been in the wake of a rebound here. Hey, thank you, James. Appreciate the love, brother. Thank you, man. All right, market on open data coming soon. I'll put the NASDAQ up and we'll watch this. See how it moves. But the NASDAQ is looking incredibly weak here. Still fading some here. Look at the NASDAQ drop. And again, this is while oil prices are dipping some. Oil's at 73.5s. Still falling though. We're under 29.7s now for the NASDAQ. Where's your face? Well, my face is right here, bro. You get half a face today. That's my villain name, half face. Burry's Big Short a flop? I don't think so. Burry's green in almost everything except for maybe Nvidia. Femi said he shorted at 198. But everything else Burry got into, he's green in so far. Just depends on if we get continuations. NASDAQ is looking heavy, though. Here's the market on open coming pretty soon here. There's the market on open data. Look at the green show up in market on open. So market on open data reacting well. Or causing the market to react well here. Logical thinking says sell if you're an investor. Well, depends on how long you're holding it more, you know. Yeah, green market on open data though here. And then a big retracement back down here. Where's oil? Services started to dip a little bit too. Alright, so some green on the market on open data. We got 4 minutes left until the opening bell. Let's see what we get today, guys. What do you guys want to buy at the open? Let me know. Look at Nvidia rebound here. So tech climbing back up. $208.5s here. No, we don't have any data today, no. All the data is centered on the rest of the week. WARSH, CPI, PPI, bank earnings, Netflix earnings, and more. Yeah, rest of the week I got a lot of stuff here. It's really why I wanted to get home. We were gonna leave after Thursday, but I wanted to get home prior to the big stuff this week, so. Alright guys, here we go. 3 minutes, roughly. Here's oil. NASDAQ still trying to climb. How come all we see is ear? Well, I'm in a hotel room. They didn't have any suites, so it's just 2 queen bed hotel rooms, so my whole family's here. So I gotta kind of turn it towards the window. Alright, NASDAQ's starting to reverse. Opening bell is here though, guys. 2.5 minutes. Red. Yemen's General Aviation Authority issues circular ordering closure of all airports to traffic until further notice. NASDAQ is going down here. I don't know if it's that news or not, but oil's not really reacting. Look at this red candle here. Hold on. Yeah, they're definitely not loving me right now. Alright, getting a lot of getting some volatility ahead of the opening bell. We got a 1.5 minutes though. I gotta wait to trade this. Hey, what's up, Tariq? I love a little ear every now and then. Well, you get ears today, bro. You know. Here's an ear for you. Alright, we're at 704s. I want to see what SK Hynix does at the open. 152s. We'll put 2 charts up at the opening bell, actually. We'll put SK Hynix and the NASDAQ up, see what everything else is doing. Alright, here we go, guys. We got a minute left. NASDAQ previous close is over 30,000. We're at 29.7s here. 40 seconds. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode here, though, guys. There we go. We are in sub-only mode. Oh, sub-only mode. Announce yourself. Show us you're subscribed. Here's the opening bell. 15 seconds. Watching SK Hynix, watching the NASDAQ. We'll watch oil too, but here's the bell, guys. Did the music stop right before the opening bell? It did. Alright, here's the open. Ding, ding, ding. There's the opening bell. Here's the NASDAQ. SK Hynix. NASDAQ, a little flat, but going red, looks like. Maybe the first move is the wrong move, but so far we have a little bit of red at the opening bell here. Yeah, NASDAQ. Let's watch that 650 level, but SK Hynix is actually moving up a little bit. Let's see what MU's doing. MU's fading down some too, look. There's SK Hynix though, it's at 154s. We gotta wait a little while to play this. I'm not gonna take anything yet. Starting to retrace a little bit on the NASDAQ though. We opened red, but we're in the first minute of the day, so we could go either way here. First move could be the wrong move. Part of this is MU dropping, Nvidia moving up. MU's heading up. Nvidia's heading up. SK Hynix is also heading up some. Just broke highs pre-market. Yeah, we're just kind of indecisive at the opening bell. We'll see how the morning plays out, though. We're at 155s. Old SK Hynix. NASDAQ at 29.7s. Netflix, Palantir, and Microsoft jumped. Yeah, I'm watching those. Netflix earnings on Thursday. Netflix up to 75s right now. Palantir up to 130s. The NASDAQ is really choppy here, though. There's a really choppy NASDAQ. So we can wait for this opening range to break. We're a few minutes into the day. Well, Apple ran up. They're suing OpenAI, but they're up to 320s right now, too. And it's been part of the reason the market rebounded as well. Yeah, we're still sitting here on the NASDAQ, 154s. Yeah, I'm streaming today. I think the stream would cry if I didn't stream. SK Hynix up to 155. Very kind of wide opening range, but still flat nonetheless. We'll look at a NASDAQ short if it sets up, though. Getting some pullbacks here now, look. How much time we got? We're 3 minutes of the day. I can't quite trade yet. I need to wait a few minutes, but... NASDAQ looking a little bit heavier now. Could be fake out, though. Very tight opening range. Microsoft is pulling back some. That's partly why. Nvidia's still heading up, though. Apple is as well. So... Still looks a little heavy to me there. Here. Apple up to almost 320s. Alright, so we're now about 4 minutes into the day. Thinking about shorting a little bounce if we get it here, but... we might not get it. NASDAQ still dropping. Let's see if we get a bounce. Hey, shout out to Christian. Appreciate the love, bro. That's fake Michael Burry. That's not the real Burry. Alright, we're still dropping. We have been a little bit heavy over the last few minutes. NASDAQ started to drop. Yeah, look at this red. I should have shorted. I didn't really get a bounce to do it, though. If we get a bounce now, I might short back into it, but it needs to be a larger bounce at like 660 maybe. which we might not get. Yeah, Apple's still pushing up. Bitcoin's rebounding. SK Hynix hit 157s. There's a move up, but not enough. I wanted 660s. It went up to 557s. Alright, we'll short this now. Hopefully it doesn't punish me here. It's the duck song. Haven't heard this one in a minute. Got a flat here. I'm going to take a little bit off here and just protect and then add back now. There we go. Alright, I'll take a little bit more off there. Hold the rest flat. Look at that drop. Quick retracement though, I don't like that, but we'll see if it follows through now. I gotta cut it, break even on the rest. We made money, but not a lot. Nasdaq's still looking weak though. Still looks heavy to me, but we'll see about a pop. SK Hynix is doing okay. Nasdaq's still getting low though. Should have held it, really. Look at SK Hynix pull back. Where's MU at? Yeah, I should have held it. MU's still breaking down too. MU's about to hit that 913 level, which will make me more short biased. I want to see if MU starts to break 913s. It's really close. It's the low of pre-market. Alright, we did jump in a little short here. But I might take a third of that off here and then let the breakdown continue if we get it. I want to see if MU breaks that low. That could drag it down. It's at 915s though, so we'll hold this break even on the rest if it doesn't work. We're at lows. Looks heavy, but I'm gonna start to cut it, break even here on the rest. MU's bouncing back, but let's see if it holds down there. Alright, we've exited most of this now. We're kind of flat on this last one. We'll come back to it. I'm watching MU here. I want to see if MU starts cracking that 913 low. That might freak people out. We got out just in time. Alright, so look at the NASDAQ rip back up here. I don't know what's causing this, but could be Nvidia related. Still a lot of bearish fears in markets right now, though. Alright, we just jumped back in short. Took a little bit more off here. Slowly scale out. Well, the rest break even if we can. Yeah, so MU did just crack that low. So exactly what we thought might happen happened. MU at 912s right now. Microsoft starting to bounce back though. But memory is fading here, guys. That's what this is. We'll take another piece off and then add back, I think, if it keeps breaking. MU just hit 909s right now. Yeah, see, that was the catalyst that I wanted a breakdown on. I'm going to add a little bit to this and then hold. See if we fall more. Still cracking lows on memory. MU's down to 906. We'll scale a little bit out here. A little bit more. MU did crack that low, exactly what we thought could happen and could be a driver of bearishness. There we go. There's more. Cut a little bit more off there. And MU's at 905s. Okay, we'll get out the rest here and just have a good trade. But yeah, look at MU, chat. Here's MU, 905s right now. It broke the pre-market low, which is kind of the trade idea. SK Hynix also is starting to reverse here as well. So memory's starting to fade some. People saying oil's jumping. Iran's guards said we continue to assert authority and control over the Strait of Hormuz. By interfering in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. seriously jeopardized the security of global oil and gas supplies. But again, SK Hynix is down after we saw a huge plunge overnight. Yeah, here's oil. Oil tap 74s. Which news are you talking about, Sam? The geopolitical stuff? But yeah, look at this breakdown here. Again, this is MU breaking down. Red for sure at the opening bell. We're almost at 29.5s. Brutal drops here. Yeah, definitely a little scary right now. Memory plays reversing. Nasdaq falling. Software, though, is up. Microsoft is doing okay. ServiceNow is actually green since the open. So software. Yeah, Nasdaq getting bumped down for sure. Meta's ripping. Marvell taking the elevator down. Yeah, Nasdaq's looking scary. Yeah, I see the pipeline news regarding Dubai plans new port to bypass the strait. Alright, Nasdaq at lows again. 550s. Switch. MU bouncing back a little bit here, though. What's sci-fi? SK Hynix finding some legs though and holding. MU bouncing back to 910s here, but it's still a sketchy day to trade long right now, I think. Alright, we're starting to pop back up though. I don't know if I trust the long here. I gotta just wait now. AI garbage. Bitcoin rejected. Yeah, Bitcoin at 62,250s here. So look at Bitcoin right now. MU's bouncing back though, you can see it, but Bitcoin at 62,250s. Still looking bearish though in markets here. Look at this red candle. Yeah, look at this red candle. Could be news driven or it could just be price action. Just crack lows again, under 550s. Still dropping here. Let's see if memory starts to rebound back up though. It's all going to depend on what that does right now, especially in this current market with the Kospi overnight. Nvidia pulled back to 208s. It all looks bearish to me though. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ crack lows again. Still dropping here. Look at this. Let's watch 500. Psychological level of 500 makes sense. Right here. See if that's a bottom if we keep breaking down. SpaceX. Yeah, SpaceX is dumping down to 140s here, guys. So SpaceX at 140s right now. Yeah, definitely looking a little sketchy. Alright, so we're starting to rebound back up. So look at the bounce, but a little sketchy right now, I think, with the markets, all things considered. Alright, we're all the way back up to 590s here. Partly due to memory rebounding back up, but again, I don't trust this at all. Depends on what. I'm going to take a small short here, very small short. And just add to it if it goes in my favor. If it doesn't, it'll be a small loss. If it does, great. But if not, it'll be a small loss. Not going to add to it here, though. I'll cut it small. Maybe a little bit late to jump and bearish this. And I see Nvidia trying to get back higher here, but start to settle sub. What's oil doing? I'm watching MU, I'm watching Bitcoin. Oil's back up to 74s. Alright, we're green. Again, I'm only going to add to it if it goes in my favor here. Maybe I'll add a small bounce here like this. Let's see if it pushes back down. MU is starting to bounce back though, so I don't know if I like this trade by me. I think I've been trading well today, but I don't know if I like this one. We'll give it a second though. See if we get pushed down. Okay, that's better. Oh, that's not better. Nvidia's starting to rebound though, so is MU. I think this is bad for this trade. Alright. I'm going to take half of this off. It's just chopping too much. I don't want to get stuck in the chop. We could ride the rest down if it goes in my favor and have an okay break-even level. There's the drop. Okay. See if we keep falling. There we go. Not really holding down there, though. I don't like that move at all. I'm gonna cut it here. I don't like that at all. Could fake me out, but we got out basically flat here. I don't like that. I don't want to see Nvidia start to rebound back up, and I think it's possible right now with all this stuff going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm green for sure, but opening bell's been a little bit harder to trade, I think. Yeah, we could look at meta. Meta's starting to fade. We gotta watch like MU, SK Hynix, back up to 160s almost. Looks like we're starting to climb back up though, but I don't trust this at all. Could jump in another short here. A lot of chop though so far. We dropped a lot this morning and now we're kind of chopping sideways. I did jump in another trade, but it's not super green yet. Alright, we'll take half off here. I've been stubborn on the short side because it looks heavy. But there we go. That's a better drop. Alright. I'm gonna cut it right there. Get out. Yeah, part of this is Nvidia keeps falling. And I'm trading futures, guys, so I'm trading NASDAQ futures. Look at the NASDAQ dip here. You can use code BGT on Lucid. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. So if you fund your own account, you're probably going to lose. Lucid has the best options, in my opinion, versus all the firms in terms of conditions. Lucid Flex, great conditions once you're actually funded. You can go direct to funded, very cheap, and it gives you 50% off if you haven't used it twice. I believe that's still going. So if you want to check out Lucid, code BGT will help support the channel. We appreciate the love. Look at the NASDAQ crack lows here. And we try to give everything away for free. Don't claim to be experts or anything like that. We just kind of give people a free way to watch markets. But man, the NASDAQ keeps dropping here. Bull or bear right here, guys. Liquidity grab, it could be what's going on, but look at this. So let's see if we get a bounce here. Again, bull or bear right now. What do you guys think? Hey, congrats. Way to girl. Way to trade, girl. Nice. Good job. Bull, bear. Alright, so we're starting to rebound back up. We're at 550s. Liquidity grab after cracking lows again. But MU is bouncing back up. It's at 916s right now. Nvidia is fading down though. It's at 207s. Bear, bull, obvious bear, bear, bull, bear. Pretty split, honestly. Getting close to lows again. Almost at lows again. Yeah, I'm traveling right now. I know the camera's not. Look, I can come over here if you guys want. But I'm traveling right now. I'll be home today. Alright, so we got the 10 a.m. time print coming through soon. Need to get over the 9 EMA. MU is the bear's delight. Right now I'm bearish. Yeah, I mean, we've been breaking down most of the morning here. MU pulling back, Nvidia pulling back. So, I mean, bear's the easy thesis to make, I think, but we're down enough to maybe we get a small recovery bounce. It just depends. Yeah, recover. Yeah. Looks like we might test lows again here. Nvidia's down to 207s. Nvidia, yeah, you can see it's at 207s. SK Hynix 155s. So it's doing all right, but again, this is the day before CPI, so maybe we get sideways action until CPI. I don't know. Big money left already if MU breaks 890s. Yeah, I think 900 is an interesting level. I think 890s makes sense because of that 900 level. Maybe that's like a range underneath it that people are targeting for exits. We're still kind of consolidation heavy here, though. We're still red for sure since the open, but green by the end of the day? I mean, it's possible. Who knows? Depends on what happens. Again, SK Hynix concerns weigh on broader tech. SOX is down. DRAM is down. SK Hynix is down from where it was. MU is down. So this is memory fears kind of dominating market sentiment right now. Alright, so here's 10 o'clock. Sometimes we get volatility at 10, but 10 a.m. is here in about 3 minutes. We don't have any data today, but we'll see if we get some movement for 10. We're at 540s. Yeah, we already saw that regarding the regarding Putin. I don't know. Here's a recovery candle. Let's see if we hold. MU's still bouncing back too. MU's back up to almost 920s, hit 902s earlier about 15 minutes ago. It's back up to 920s here. So MU's starting to bounce back. Maybe we get a recovery here. I don't know. It's definitely Brit's fault. Somehow it is. Alright, so here's some green. MU just hit. MU is now over the VWAP at 920s. Alright, we're starting to see some bounce back. You might want to wake up your mom too. Yeah, look at this rebound here. So we got a little bit of action. Nvidia's up to 208s. MU is up to 920s again. I'm looking at news, but I think this is just rebounds in memory. Look at this bounce. It's happening quickly too here. MU's at 925s. MU might go green on the day. Or we could just be in a big range but flat. But Nvidia's bouncing back. It's almost at 209s. MU at 925s. So SK Hynix is not really moving, but look at MU's bounce back here. It's starting to recover. Do I trust it? No. I'm going to take an eval and short this. And now remember, this is an eval. It might be kind of crazy. Big rebound here. We'll go big on it and see what happens. Definitely a risky bet here, though, but AMU's running into that 200 EMA, so. Alright, we're gonna have to cut some of this. Don't short strength, guys. Lesson from John today. It's a little bit too much, though, of a push, but we'll see if we start to rally here. Yeah, with some of these evals, I gotta look for big risk reward, and I think that's the big risk reward play, is looking for downside, maybe. Again, don't do this with a funded account. This is just evals. MU still ripping over 926s here, which I think is what's driving this. Alright, there's a MU dip, though. We'll see if it holds. There's 10 o'clock. Alright, we did jump back in short here. I'll see what happens. To be honest, I took some off already, but we'll take a little bit more off there. And then I want to kind of add to it if it starts to reverse back down. There we go. Alright, I got to add to this now. Maybe hold it break even. There we go. Let's take a little bit more off here. A little bit more off there, and then hold this flat, maybe. Yeah, we'll get off the rest flat right there. Alright. Oh, look at that drop. Hold on, that's a wiggle candle right there. Hold on, real quick. That looks like a news candle, but maybe not. I don't see anything. Could just be whippy price action here. Looks like we're gonna head back to lows here. I mean, MU's pulling back a little bit though. It's not crazy. Nvidia dipped some. Oil's still quiet. Where's gold? Gold is breaking down here this morning though. Look at gold. So gold's at 40,046. Gold's been cracking lows basically all morning. Alright guys, so gold's still breaking down. I'm gonna short into this little bounce here, I think. Yeah, we're just gonna, this is an eval, so we can just swing for the fences here, see if we start to flush back down. Like this. There we go. Okay. Take a little bit off there. Yeah. A little bit more off. Yep. Yes, sir. Alright, we'll take some more off. Maybe add some size and then hold it break even on the rest. I think that makes sense. Oh, you know what I meant regarding gold. take half off here. It just seems like it's holding some, but we'll give it a second. Add it back if we get some good stuff going on. I don't see any news. I think there's just microchip fears, memory fears. Alright, we added to this last one just in case we keep breaking down. Yeah, SpaceX dumping, memory fading. SpaceX down to 130s here. 138s. Looking sketchy. Still dropping. Like I said, we're going to hold the rest of this flat and see if we break down more, start cracking lows again. Alright, take a little bit more off there. Still looking red, but a rebound I think is imminent. Potentially. I might be wrong here. So I'm going to get out. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, look at gold here, guys. So gold is really one of the things that's fading. Gold down to 4,040s. Look at gold here, man. Gold is flushing down. Kind of sketchy looking. Buy or sell gold here, guys. What do you guys think? Everything is kind of tanking. I mean, gold, nasdaq, S&P, memory, chips, they're all down. Yeah, there's the rebound. I thought like we could rebound a little bit here, which is why I jumped out of that short. SpaceX dumping. Yeah, SpaceX down to 137s right now. Look at SpaceX here. 137s. So a lot of stuff is scary red. It's like it's starting to get up there, but it's starting to rebound back up some here. Let's see if we hold. Let's take one of these evals and just kind of swing for it, see if we can get funded. Yeah, we're just kind of swinging for the fence in this eval. I want to see if we drop some more, which we kind of are. There we go. We're going to start to scale out. Jump out of this quick on the pop back up. I think we avoided most of this, but look at that rebound here. And I don't mind just kind of adding to this, but... It's an eval, guys, by the way. We're trading this. We're green on our funded account today already, but this is an eval, by the way. So, don't do what I'm doing here. I'm just looking for good risk reward. I think this might be a little bit too big a size for me, but I think the sweet spot for me in eval is like 50 to 70. So we'll give it a second. We'll let it play. Looks like it's going up though, to be honest. Oil's also kind of moving higher. Let's see if gold finds some support. Oh, we got stopped out. That's alright. Like I said, just an eval. I don't know if Connor was hurt before the fight, bro. It looked like he might have been. The walkout was suspect whenever the refs were checking him. He seemed a little injured, you know. Remember, guys, it is the day before CPI. We do have CPI inflation data releasing tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We also have Kevin Warsh doing his semi-annual monetary policy report tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we got some stuff going down tomorrow. You guys red or green so far today? Low energy today? Me? Nah, I'm at a hotel. Green, green, red. I don't know. I like Patty Pimblett, bro. Dude came in with a bowl cut, just started beating people up. I can respect it, you know. Alright, guys. But yeah, I'm probably going to cut out of here. I got to travel a little bit more, but we're going home today. So, I'm greening my funded account. We lost an eval or two, but we're greening our funded account. If you want to check out Apex, super cheap evals, you can get, for $95, you can get 5 50K evals. So it's a pretty good deal. Check them out. Great way to help support the channel. Here is that link right here. You can also check out Lucid. It's in the description. Tradeify is great. It has their select plan, really useful. And then Take Profit's really good for beginners. Has really good like free payout rules. You can use code BGT on all of them and get the max discount, whatever it is. It's a great way to help support our free content. We will be back live, obviously, tomorrow for CPI inflation. We're going to be home today, so I'll see you guys later. Love to everybody here. Not an investment professional, you know, not liable if you lose money, guys. And see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day. Later, chat.